People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. Fridays equals Q&A day, so without wasting any more time, not that it's a great day outside, I can hear the rain over here in London. Let me crack on with your questions. Now, first and foremost, I'm never going to be a saddo and make up questions. You know, without you lot asking questions, there is no Q&A shows. It's that simple. So I appreciate your questions. I can't speak for other content creators, but for me, there's no such thing as a stupid question. You see it. There are some frustrating questions. Admittedly, you all know I don't really like the transfer ones, but other than that, it is what it is. So thank you very much for your questions. And let's move forward now. Tom, you know, Tom, like Aouar and Tom, they're going to be at my funerals. Any sort of support, they're always there. And I always appreciate it, Tom. You said, in reference to Mane's elbow on Tierney, do you think the excessive force rule applies more when contact is made on the feet, ankle and legs rather than the upper body, in particular the head? I think a yellow card was the correct decision, by the way. So do I, and I don't think so. I think it's I think it's the law is applied like where it is. I just think refs don't implement it properly, if that makes sense. I could get it though. I mean, there's a lot of grey areas when you're in live time, when you're trying to get the advantage of your opponent, but I don't think that's the case, my guy. Each one teach one has said, if we do any business, will we do by tomorrow? Do you think we have enough until the January window? You know, it's a difficult one. I don't think, you know, tomorrow, I'm not sure. I think you asked me this on Thursday, so today's Friday. I don't know if we're going to confirm any signings. Small hope we make something happen by Monday, my guy. But at the same time, it's a thing where if you get 2 centre mids in, I think it's cool. Whether we have enough till January, if you do that, we do have enough. If you don't, we're still going to have the same issues. And there's a fly. A fly just came in my room and it's now dead on my wardrobe, and I'm going to have to clean that up in a second. Where are my tissues? I'm going to go and deal with that in a second, people. But yeah, apologies for that. Either way, if we don't get it done, we don't have enough. My guy D says, asks, do you think Arteta needs a new system for away games / low block situations? Not necessarily, because three at the back, it doesn't have to be defensive, you know. When you look at other teams, they always want to go forward and things. I think where our issue is, you know, when we're playing against teams like Liverpool, obviously it didn't happen on Monday, but Liverpool, City, Chelsea, when we're playing teams that expect to have possession, teams where we're going to have a low block of ourselves, concede possession and be frustrated, these are teams that want the ball, that want to take it out us, so gaps are going to open up. That's why we're able to do them pretty goals building from the back or hitting them on the counter. When you're playing against these, no disrespect, just an example, these promoted sides, 2 banks of 4, 11 men behind the ball, you know, when you haven't got players that want to break the lines, when you haven't got a team that collectively recognises this and wants to break the lines, it's in trouble, you know. I think we need Aouar to come and break those lines, but at the same time, if he comes, I don't think he solves all the problems, because the team has to want to collectively break the lines. There's got to be better movement, you know, there's got to be better passes. People have to try, you know, people have to move the ball with a bit more urgency. There's a lot of, it's more, for me, it's personnel, but it's more a lack of teaching and a lot of bad habits. And I think if he gets that, then it doesn't matter if we play 4 at the back, 3 at the back. Of course, when we play big away games against teams that are going to sit back, as much as I said I don't mind playing 3 at the back as long as the intention, I don't see the need. Can we go 4-3-3 and be a bit more attacking centric? For me, the movement of the front 3 needs to improve. The collective movement of the whole team needs to improve. And I'm not saying you are, but I think Arsenal fans in general, we always look at one player to be the messiah. Like we looked at Gabriel to come and change our fortunes defensively. He cannot do it alone. The same went for Mesut Ozil when he signed. He's not going to change this club on his own, and neither is Aouar or Thomas Partey if he comes in. None of these, it needs to be a collective thing. So I do think we need to try something different for sure. Truman said, what's your favourite memory from the Emirates era? Anytime we've beaten Spurs, it's been fantastic. When we beat Man United, I was there when Henry scored, when we came from behind. There's that. I would probably say, although I wasn't there, I'd say Thierry Henry coming back and scoring. For me personally, that you know, goosebumps, bro. Like goosebumps. I watch that goal again quite frequently. Proper goosebumps. So I'd say that, my dude. Forgive me for mispronunciation of your name, my guy, but Manjor Petal, forgive me again. You know, I hear your name once, I won't make that mistake. You said, how do you feel about the Guendouzi situation, a loss of a potential future gem, or just happy that he's out the door? I'm a fan of Guendouzi. I think he's going to go on and develop and be a France player and just increase his stature in football. And there might be a time when he leaves, we say, oh, how did we let him go? I understand it though, because I like his attitude, I like what he comes with, but at the same time, you know, if Arteta wants to nip it in the bud and make an example of him and say, listen, I'm not going to take no shit from no 19-year-old, so the rest need to pattern up. I get it, because the way we are as a club, we need men that are fully on board. I don't know whose sides of the story what to believe, but you know, I think if Guendouzi probably just should have said sorry. Personally, I think Arteta is giving Guendouzi a chance, but there's just been too many issues. And again, you know, there's so much to deal with moving Arsenal forward. You don't want to have to be dealing with individual players nonsense at the same time. So I do think Guendouzi will go off and have a better career and whatnot, but he might look back if this Arsenal team doesn't work and he does go and say, I could have acted better. I want Guendouzi to stay. I think he's got a future, but at the end of the day, I've accepted that he's gone. He's not part of the plans, regardless of what Arteta says about training and things. If he stays, you know, and he's not moved on between now and January, opportunities can happen. Water can be put under the bridge, but for me, I think it's a myth. So, love for your question. Fono said, do you think it's time that Mikel starts experimenting with a different system? Our 3-4-3 is fine against the possession-heavy teams. I would like to see 4-3-3, but for me it's about the intention. You can play 3 at the back as long as you want to pop teams open, because 9 times out of 10 we've got the players. You know, when we're scoring these mad goals like against Fulham, nobody's speaking about 3 at the back. It's about the intention. You know, when City play 3 at the back, they're always going to go forward. For us, we've got bad habits. You know, we can't really string them mad passes together consistently, so it's an issue. So I guess there could be a change to 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 of sorts, my dude. So yeah, man. CJ said, it's a one-off game and you're making an all-time Arsenal 11 for a one-off game, Champions League final, FA Cup final, etc. All positions are filled other than the main striker. Who do you pick? Ian Wright, Thierry Henry, or Aubameyang? Bergkamp will be the other striker. Big up Ian Wright. You know, I've got a lot of love for Aubameyang, but I mean, that's, you know, come on, I'm born in 1995, you know. Thierry Henry's my guy. That's the only player I'm taking. Him and Ronaldinho and Ronaldo Lima are the only players that I'm taking ahead of Messi personally, and it's nothing to do with ability. It's just they're my guys. You know, Thierry Henry made me love, amongst other things, made me love football. You know, that's Thierry Henry. It's not even a question. I'm taking Thierry. Manny said, how would you grade Willian so far? Realistically, it's far too early to grade if he's a success or failure. We can't be too hot and cold. Looked superb against Fulham, kind of showed his level in games to come, was anonymous against Liverpool. I think he's a calm squad player. I think he's a calm addition to complement the team, but he's not a player I'd necessarily say I'm relying on. To be fair, there's not many. It sounds bad because you shouldn't rely on young players, but when Martinelli's back, I've seen enough to say I rely on you. I look to you to make the difference. The same goes for Saka. The same goes for Aubameyang. I know Tierney had a dodgy game on Monday, but the same goes for Tierney as well. Gabriel is fast becoming part of that bracket. There's not too, and to be fair, I'd throw Leno in there as well. I have my own criticisms of Leno, but 9 times out of 10 he's doing what he can. He does some dumb stuff, but he does what he can. There's not too many players I have these feelings around. There's players I like, there's players I want to see do well, but you know, these were the only players, if I had to bet my life savings or bet my life that they're going to show me anything close to levels of consistency I want from a team that can get top 4, then these are the names that are coming straight first to mind. You know, the rest of the players, they go through good bouts of form, like David Luiz, he goes through good patches of form. Holding, good patches of form. Xhaka, good patches of form, and I think Xhaka's a decent player. You know, there's good and bad spells with a lot of our players. There's not too many players, I think, sunshine, raining, you know, April or December, you're going to still do the same business for me. Their names I said previously were who I believe in. Truman has said, again, do you personally believe that we could sign both Aouar and Partey? As the market goes on and we approach Monday, I'm inclined to believe no. But when you hear, you know, Atletico want to sign Torreira, they're moving people on. Lyon have signed some additions. Things could be heating up. For me, I'm past the stage of Aouar or Partey now. I want them badly, especially Aouar. Well, I want Partey as much as Aouar. I keep flip-flopping. But as we're moving on now, I'm starting to, you know, whether Lyon want to give us their player or Atletico want us to do a thing or not, it's become a thing where I hope to God there's plan B and C targets and it's time to start assessing them, because we're probably going to have to overpay for them now because people know our situation. We've struggled to move players on. We've struggled to bring players in. So that's what it is. Sagara said, do we need to replace Kolasinac with Do we need to replace Kolasinac with Kieran Tierney's injury record? Can we rely on Saka or another centre-half to fill in, i.e. Gabriel or Marie? I suppose you can, but I'd rather left-backs just play. There is a debate to sign a left-back, but at the moment, you know, we've got Cedric, who could be forced there, whether I agree with it or not. Bellerin, who I'm sure played there once when Oxlade was playing right back, who I don't agree with that. As you said, for me, Saka, Maitland-Niles to go with Tierney, I think we're covered there. But I do think we should be looking at a left-back if Maitland-Niles goes to the right-hand side and you want to see Saka playing in advanced positions. So there is every case to look at a left-back. You know, will we have money spare, or are we looking at a left-back when the priority for me, or what the club is saying allegedly, is 2 central midfielders? I don't know. I think you should be bringing all 3 in, my guy. But yeah, man, probably need to move on Kolasinac before you can even talk on that. And there's talk of him going to Leverkusen. There's talk of bare things, but until man leave, they're still here. Brandon has said, who do we blame for players not leaving? Arteta, Edu, Vinay. And the same goes for transfers, because blaming Kroenke is getting tired and it only makes sense to sell to buy. Everybody collectively, you know. Players are not going to be... You can't force a player out. You can make it clear you need to be moved on. You can, but, you know, you can't force him to sign. We're here because of everybody, really. We're here over several issues. We're over years of mismanagement on and off the field. We're here with several mediocre players on high wages. Obviously, the job of Edu, Vinay is to move players on, so I say you could blame them, but I don't think it's a blame thing, really. You know, it's hard to move these players on, but I'd say, Edu, that's your role. You've got to do what you need to do. Yachin is... Ooh, wait, sorry, that's a mispronunciation. You don't follow me, so I'm answering your question. YW said opinions on Zinchenko to Arsenal. I'm not on that, my guy. I'm not on that at all. I like him, but I'm not on that. I want an actual left back. That's a left back. You know, I like Saka there. I like Maitland-Niles there, but I don't want to bring in another man who can play central midfield, can play left wing, can do a job at left back, because he wasn't playing anywhere else realistically in that City team. So I'd prefer an out and out left back, but I think he's a decent player. Giovanni has said, what's going on with Pepe? Is he low on confidence? He just must not be doing the job. He might be injured, or there might be some issues as to why he's not starting, but I don't think he's not necessarily performing. But, you know, you're not making it obvious to Arteta to not start you. You know, you need to make it that Willian and these other guys, there's no debate, because Willian shouldn't be 32-year-old past it. Willian shouldn't be starting ahead of you. Bukayo Saka, who for me at times is ahead of you, 19-year-old fresh in the game, shouldn't be playing ahead of you. So there must be something he's not showing, or other players are showing more to Arteta. The way Arteta speaks about Pepe displays to me he'll have time and patience with him, but we need to see more. Pepe is very much a confidence player, and I have a lot of sympathy for the dynamics that have contributed to him not succeeding. You know, we've had different managers, we don't play to his strengths and whatnot, but at some degree he's got to pull it out himself. He's got to pull it out. You know, I want to see a bit more belief with him as well. It looks like he's a bit indifferent with decision making. I want to see that X factor in his game, because he's got the technical ability. It's all about the mental now. Asher said, if we don't sign Aouar / Partey, what would your strongest 11 with our current team be, and where do you think we'd finish? I'd hope Arteta can galvanise and make us a bit more consistent to get to turn these draws into wins and potentially put more of a fight at the top 4. But I think we fall short. Potentially finish anything from 5th to 8th again, really. You know, I want to be wrong. I beg to God hope I'm wrong. I want to look back in this video in May and say, DG, why was you chatting crap? But that's a real possibility for me, you know, because I love Arteta, and a lot of my love for Arteta and what he's doing is clouding my judgment in our belief. But when I look at it, I can't see this current crop of players. They'll have good moments, they'll have bad moments, but ultimately I think they'll fall short. I just don't think they have. Assuming we sign no players, if we was playing 3 at the back, Leno obviously plays in goal. Back 3 of Gabriel Tierney for me. Gabriel Tierney, and probably Gabriel Tierney, probably David Luiz, or in fact, you know what, you could probably just go David Luiz, Gabriel and Rob Holding. Tierney play left back, Maitland-Niles at right back, central midfielders of Ceballos and Xhaka. Front 3 personally, I would go with Aubameyang, Lacazette and Saka. That's me personally. If it was what I would like in a 4-3-3, again, Leno in goal. My centre-halves would probably be Gabriel and David Luiz. You know, Saliba, talk of going out on loan, he's still young, but he would play over me. I like what Holding's done in the opportunities he's had, but I think David Luiz and Gabriel, at this moment in time, you're asking me, would be it. Again, Tierney at left back, right back would be Maitland-Niles. in midfield you'd have a free man of Xhaka, Ceballos. And assuming no one comes in, you know, I would play Saka on the flanks, but I think there's every reason to play Saka in that 10 position and then go with Pepe, Aubameyang and Lacazette. You know, if not what's his face in that role, then you know Ozil's not a thing. So there's not really a midfielder I'm looking at. You might as well just play Joe or give him some minutes. Really and truly, our squad is quite weak. W's has said, how long until Willian is dropped from the 11 and what is Pepe's current market value? I don't know his current market value, my guy. I'm not a transfer man, and you know Willian will be dropped when Arteta feels that he's not justifying him. You know, right now I think he shouldn't have played against Liverpool really, and he was iffy then. He was iffy in the game before. He was superb against Fulham. So I do think other people should get some opportunities now because he's not grabbed all of them. But it's until Arteta seems that there's other options. AM9 has said, thoughts on the striker situation between Eddie, Balogun and John Jules. There's not much of a situation, but it's interesting. I mean, it'd be naive to believe all of them are going to make it at Arsenal, but I do think all of them have an opportunity. I do believe 1 to 2 of these players need to progress into the first team or there is a serious problem. Balogun looks set to be leaving. I badly want him to stay, but at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. If we can get a decent fee for him, hope that's the case. If that can happen, I'm not too sure because you're seeing Brewster's gone to Sheffield. With Sheffield not linked with Balogun, do they still want him? I don't know. I think John Jules will have a future at Arsenal. If he doesn't, he's going to have a great career. I think Eddie's making a good meal of things. Balogun, you know, I wouldn't blame Balogun for leaving. You know, he's got to be selfish. Go to a club where there's a clearer pathway, where maybe there's less strikers. Because at the end of the day, you know, I know Aubameyang's played on the flanks, but you've got Aubameyang. You've got Lacazette. You've now got Eddie instead ahead of you. You know, Martinelli probably be used through the middle before you as well. Maybe even Pepe, you know. You've not really trained too tough with the first team you have, but you haven't. Then obviously you've got the other young players. You know, you've got to do the maths. The maths ain't really there. You've got to be selfish. Go to a team where if you're not going to play immediately, there's a pathway for you to eventually, by the end of this season, you've made some proper senior appearances. And Sheffield would have been perfect. I know they've got McGoldrick and technically Callum Robertson and I believe on paper and Ollie McBurney and things like that, but you'd back yourself really there with all due respect. So he's got to be selfish. That's all the questions asked of me via Twitter, people. It's been a massive pleasure answering those. Let me actually find the questions via the YouTube community tab, and we've got 23 here. Andrew said, what would Aouar's signing have on Ceballos? What impact, can you see Arteta playing them together as a free in midfield, allowing Ceballos to play a lot deeper? Yes, I could, and exactly that. I don't know how to expand on that question, you know. You've said it. I do think it would be nice, you know. I do think he'd go Xhaka, Aouar and Ceballos, and apologies for kicking the screen. Not too sure it's dynamic enough in the Premier League. You know, I do think Arteta's love for Xhaka might cost him, and that's no criticism of Xhaka. I think, you know, ideally you want to improve on Xhaka, get someone that can do what Xhaka does but is a bit more dynamic to go with Aouar and or Partey if these signings do come. You know, Xhaka should be a squad player. I don't want to sell Xhaka. I've got a lot of time for Xhaka, but when you're playing Xhaka and El Nene as your midfield partnership, you know, you've got to be real. You're not going to get top 4. It's not good enough. Like, El Nene's taking his chances. I've got a lot of time for Xhaka, but you know, you've got to remove your emotion and look at things with logic, and it's just simply not good enough, people. Simply put. Apologies, had to move that quickly. Omer said, are you a bit concerned by Ainsley? He's been really poor of late. Not sure I agree with that, my guy, so no. Niner said, of our current sets of midfielders, who do you see as the most pivotal? Who has the highest ceiling? And who would you be less happy to see leave? Actually, the two that are not going to be part of the football. Like, I actually want to keep Torreira and Guendouzi, so you know, I'd be not happy to see them leave, but it is what it is. Most pivotal based on what Arteta requires from the squad right now, I'd say it's Xhaka. You know, you do see when Xhaka's not in the side what's missing, and he does appear vital to Arteta's plans. So I would say that, even though for me it'd be Torreira, based on the current options, excluding the projected alleged signings of Partey and Aouar. I don't really think anyone's pivotal past that. Highest ceiling, you know, excluding Torreira and Guendouzi, who I think had the highest ceilings. Probably Ceballos, but he might not be here. You know, Joe Willock, I'm not too sure how far he can go in the game. Hope he can go as far as he can. I think this is as good as we're going to get from Xhaka and El Nene, so I'm not too sure, my guy. Diabolical has said, My question is, do you have any superstitions before you play a game of football? I put all the left-hand side of my stuff on first, like left-hand socks. You know, when I'm putting on my boxes, it's the left foot first that I push into. You know, boots, laces first, boot first. I like to do that even though my right foot is the stronger. I like to listen to music as well. I have to listen to music and be in the zone. I need a green tea. When I was younger, I used to have certain superstitions. Like, I would always think I'd have a bad game if within the first 5 minutes I didn't take somebody out, sort of thing. But apart from that, you know, using the left-hand side, that was it really. I wasn't really superstitious. Crows asked a difficult question, and I quickly prepared for this a slight bit, you know, just before I started this video. It was off the top of my head. He said, who would your starting 11 from our academy, from our best academy graduates of all time be? And it's a difficult one. You know, I have to go a bit for players before my time, but I've gone Chesney in goal. Again, before my time, I only know him as a manager and as an assistant, but Pat Rice at right back. One of the best players I saw play for this club, regardless of what people say. Ashley Cole is going to go centre-half. For me, I'm going Tony Adams and Keown in midfield. Man said midfield. As our centre-half partnership. In midfield, I'm cheating a bit, and I know he came from La Masia, but he made his name at Arsenal. I'm going with Cesc Fabregas, our own Jack Wilshere, and Liam Brady in our midfield. You know, that looks like a tasty midfield. In our front three, so 4-3-3. I was gonna go Andy Cole. I could still, you know what? I'll put Andy Cole because technically he came from our academy. We never saw the best of him, but you could say Andy Cole, become a household name, so you could say him. But I've done a bit of a different one. False 9, another bit of a cheat code, like says Fabregas. I'm going with Gnabry through the sort of false 9-10 role. Bukayo Saka for me is early in his career, but I'm putting him on the left-hand side. And R.I.P. may his soul rest in peace. On the right-hand side is going to be Rocastle for me. There are some other players that could have been looked in, but off the top of my head, that's what I did. Like I said, Brady, Pat Rice before my time. And rest in peace, Rocastle. Moving forward though, people. And Antonio said, I know you hate transfer questions, but I want to hear your opinion about the possible signing of Amadou Diarra from AS Roma. Do you think he's the same profile as Partey? Slightly different, but I wouldn't mind his signing. I really wouldn't. I think he's got you know, he tries to win the ball back. He tries to do the box-to-box thing. That's what we need, and he might be more affordable and cheaper. So I'm all for that, man. You also said, can you see Ceballos in the 10 role? I can see Ceballos having more freedom on the football field, yeah, but that's one for Thingy. That's one for Arteta. And you've asked me in relation to Aouar's role. I see him, on some hands, I think he's going to be that deep-lying playmaker with a license to go forward. On the other hand, I think he's, I wouldn't say a 10, but the creative hub. He's going to be given the license to go from box to box and whatnot. Aouar's a great player, man, but I think what we need to, if he was to sign, you know, you're going to probably demand a bit more prolonged consistency over, from him. Because if you was watching Lyon last season, it was a terrible season for everyone. Not everybody was amazing. Samuel Gray said, is it just me or does it seem like our quality goes down when we play night games? Can't say I've made that observation, my guy. Psycho said, do you think we need both Aouar and Partey, and will they make an instant impact in the team? I think they will. They upgrade our midfield, and I think we do need them. Kenneth has said, I've been wondering this for a while. Replace Vardy with Oba at Leicester for the exact same role. How would he do in comparison to Vardy? They'd both score a crap load amount of goals, in my opinion. They'd both equally do what they're doing, you know. Arguably, Aubameyang might even score more for Leicester because there's more of an emphasis. You know, they're actually going to play to his strength. Like Leicester play to Vardy's strengths. I don't think Arsenal play to Aubameyang's strengths, really. So, you know, Lacazette, Aubameyang might get more. Jamie Vardy would be perfect in our system, so I think he would still score goals. Davo has said, you've seen a bit of Michael Olise and playing at Reading, then judging from your Insta, grab the number 7 shirt this season. After a couple years breaking through into the first team fold, only 18. Don't know your question, my guy, but I'm sure you're I don't know what you're trying to say, my guy, but big up nonetheless. I assume you're saying did you know about Olise through looking at my stuff? I'm not too sure. I'll never claim credit for such, but love for that nonetheless, my guy. You've been very positive, man. Means a lot. And Olise is going to have a decent season and really enhance his reputation. Teacher Blacks has said, well, go on, DG. Love, my guy. How do you feel about the support you've been receiving? You've done some good stuff. Love your videos. Continue making sick content. Heartwarming. Can't put into words. Like, I knew I had some fans. I knew you lot rocked with me, but pardon me, you lot have, you know, my faith in humanity is restored, you know, first and foremost. And I I can't put into words. I'm just thankful, man. It means a lot that you lot want to see me make content. You want to see me get better. You don't want to see my dream get mashed up and things, because you can recognize I'm just a genuine guy trying to be better than I was yesterday. So it means a lot, man. Rohan has said, will you be doing a transfer deadline day stream on Monday at 10 p.m? Window closes at 11. We'll see, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Emmanuel said, how much money would you bet on both Partey and Aouar coming to Arsenal this window? None, because I don't know if it's going to happen. Philip has said, what video game consoles do you have, if any? I have a P4. Pavi has said, what do you look for in a holding midfielder? First and foremost, can he break down play, and is his positioning spot on? First and foremost. Other than that, then they're the minimums for me. Then we look at, can he build, can he pass, you know, what else can he do, sort of thing. But that's the minimum. Gladys said, do you believe in the creator of all things? I do believe there is a higher power, if that's what you're asking me. I do think everything is designed in an intrinsic sort of way. K. Jewis said, what's your thoughts on the present state of the handball rule? It needs to change, and apparently it is going to. You also said, what do you think it would take to get rid of for the club to get rid of the Kroenkes? Is there anything the fans can viably do, or any notions of fan agencies to do such? I don't know, man. I don't know. You can say not going to games, not that anyone can, but you know, for every one person that gives up their season ticket or gives up their seat on bums at the Emirates, thousands will fight over that. Me included, we're still going to buy the shirts. You know, I don't think there is too much you can do, really, if I'm completely honest. But there probably is a way. I just don't think I'm the man to answer that. Gina said, do you think it's possible that Arsenal are confident Partey won't sign an extension with Atletico, then go for him in January? Maybe, but that's it. For me, it's not going to help us, really. You can get him then, but by then, you know, our bed might have been laid in relation to if we're getting Champions League or not. We need him. 1-1 has said, big up DG, did Edmonton win? You're talking about my Sunday team. Nah, we lost last week still. Our keeper's fucking shit, man. I hope he sees this. And I know I'm the captain and it's bad, but we need a better keeper. He's quiet, he doesn't talk, he doesn't try and save things. If you saw the free kick that they scored, people, imagine. It's one of them, like, the keeper's got the wall. If you're a keeper, why are you standing on the same side of your wall? Like, he's standing on one side of the goal and there's a whole other area to aim at, you know. He's not standing in the middle, he's standing behind the wall. The man, all that the attacker did is hit the target. It was a shit free kick, pardon my language. He just hit the target. And you can see man go, dancing across. And I know you have to save with your feet, but he never saves with his hand. I'm actually sick and tired of playing with him in my defence, people, because, you know, I'm not perfect. We all go through bad moments, but I'm tired of having no faith in the goalie. I'm tired of my back five, including him, you know, excluding him for a sec. Our back four not being rewarded for half-decent performances. So AFC Edmonton, if you're seeing this, yeah, new goalie, if you're seeing this, I'm sorry, but you're shit, man. Like, get out, man. It's levels. You said, where do you think we'll finish in the league? Boy, I'm gonna be real. My enthusiasm's gone. Like, I'm just not seeing certain things I wanted to see. I thought we could mount a title challenge. I still think we can get promoted. I think we'll probably come second or third. I don't think there's a better team better than us in the division. I think we just fall short with a couple of things, you know. I think management needs to concede they can't do everything, and I think we need a goalie. And it is frustrating for me, quite simply, to sit there and take this, but it's not my team, so let's see how it goes. You said, what division do we play in? We play in Barnet League and we're in the 6th division. You've also said, do you think that we'll make signings before the window closes? I hope so. And you said, based on what you've seen so far, where will Arsenal finish? Impossible to know, but I think we'll fall short of top 4 based on what I've seen so far, based on who we have available to us. Like, there are some individuals, you know, Gabriel gives me more hope. I've always got faith in Martinelli when fit, Saka, you know, Tierney, Aubameyang, and people like that. There's not too many players, I think, you know, over a 38-game period, you're going to have, you know, maybe 3 bad games max. There's a couple man that are going to have, you know, 5 good games on the spin, 5 terrible games, and so on and so forth. So, if we want to finish high, we need consistency. It's that simple. Papaya's asked, big up yourself, DG. Hope you're all well and safe. You too, my guy. You said, as a fullback, how difficult do you think it is for Maitland-Niles to play on the side of his weaker foot? Well, on Sundays, I play at left back. And I wouldn't say it's difficult. You do have to think a bit more. You are kind of crippled, because my left foot is all right, but I can't do what I can do with my right. And I'm one of them. I don't like the other team to know that I'm heavily right-footed, so I'll try and let it run across. But judging on me, you do lose a lot. Like, I can cross a ball, but I can't cross it with the accuracy of my right. You know, there's several things you lose. So it is quite difficult. You do find yourself going on the right foot a lot, but there can be benefits. Like, when I'm playing right back and I burst forward and cut in, I'm banging it on my left. I'm on my stronger foot now when I'm on my right. And I found that left back I'm better going forward. I think I find it more enjoyable going forward because there's more variety. I can cut in, I can cut out, I can, you know, come inside. It is quite difficult. And you said, what do you think it would take for us to return to a 4-3-3? I think for Arteta, he needs to have more confidence in our ability to defend. I don't think he's got any confidence in our ability to defend. I think we need better midfielders. If we had the dynamic midfielders, then maybe we wouldn't need, you know, 5 men behind the ball and whatnot, because we'd win the ball high up the field early with, you know, our front